Hi everyone. So I am doing this is my last weekly wrap up for my books. I'm going back to my mid-month wrap ups, my end of the month wrap ups. I was also thinking of like the beginning of the month, probably not. I don't know. I'll see if I can do it this week. But I really want to try doing like once a month a weekly vlog where I'm vlogging for like the whole week. The books that like I'm currently reading, or books I'm currently reading. And then like, maybe I'm walking around because I live a very boring life. My life is very boring. So maybe like if I'm walking down the street or something, I can talk a little bit about like the book that I'm reading, or, whatever have you, like I try to come up with something. But I was thinking of doing that like once a month. I don't think I could do weekly vlogs. I don't have the time, and I'm always doing something, or I forget to like film myself. Plus, I don't want to film like all around my apartment and stuff because I have a small apartment. I don't want people to like see how old my oven is and all this different stuff, like if I'm cooking or whatever. I have an old oven, and I kind of like, it's embarrassing to show my old appliances, and I live in an older apartment complex, so the owner just, if he doesn't have to update it, he's not going to update it. And the stove I have, super old. So yeah, there might be some things I'm like, I don't want to film because it doesn't look good. It makes me look, I don't know, poor or whatever. Some things just don't look good. And there's other people who have really nice appliances in their kitchen and all that different stuff. So it makes me look poor, makes them look like they have definitely more than what they have. So it just, to me, I'm like, I'd rather not show certain things. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyways, I wanted to do that like once a month and see how I can handle it. And then maybe there's a chance that I might be able to do like twice a month or something. I'm just trying to come up with like different things I can do. But anyways, I'm just going on a 2-minute rant right here. So the book that I went and read last week was, I had to try to finish, I'm trying to finish up the Brentwood Boys for Megan Quinn's series. So I ended up reading the setup. So this is Brentwood Boys number 6. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. So we have the characters of Lincoln and Indy. So I gave it like 4 out of 5 for a spice rating. As a content warning, there is small conversation on miscarriage and physical abuse in this story, but it's really kind of lightly touched upon. So I don't feel like it's triggering to me, but it might be triggering to others. So I said, so Indy and Lincoln go to Brentwood College and have never crossed paths before. Lincoln is a baseball player and Indy plays soccer. So their meddling mothers decide to set up their children on a date because they think that they're meant to be. So once Lincoln and Indy realized they were set up, they didn't take it too well and proceeded to challenge each other to games. It was kind of like they ended up in this, kind of like an arcade, I'd say, the area that they live in, there's like some area that is kind of like a restaurant and arcade. And I guess they don't normally go there because, I guess the one mother is like, doesn't like going there. So the fact that, they showed up there, I think it was the daughter was like suspecting there was going to be something like, oh boy, is she going to try to set me up again because she doesn't normally like to go here. So yeah, her mom kind of gave herself away. So they decide to, they didn't take it too well. So they decided to play games. And so once they realized their moms ditched them, Lincoln took Indy home. Now, these are characters that are like in their early 20s, so they just got out of their high school years and they're really like in their early 20s. And so once they see each other again in school, they decide to strike up a friendship. And so this book was definitely slow burn. You could see that the more Indy and Lincoln were around each other, that you can tell that they were attracted to each other. They started to feel like an attraction with each other, and they really kind of like, it was really kind of a don't want to tell the other, how they felt. So it just really was like, I was kind of like, let's get to it, you know? And then it's like, nope, didn't happen. And I was just like, you are stringing me along now. So yeah, I said, what irritated me about this book was the fact that they didn't tell the other that they wanted more than friendship. I said, it wasn't until 60% into the book where they started like sleeping together. So I said, then, as Megan Quinn has done in multiple of her books, she creates a separation between the characters. They still talk on the phone and sometimes hook up, but they go through ups and downs for 5 years after college until they're finally in the right place for them to have any type of romance. I said also, Indy deals with a lot of grief with her parents and not having them support her dream of being a pro soccer player. The way I kind of saw it in the book was her parents really didn't, and this is, I'm not going on a rant, but this is the thing I see with parents who don't support their daughters when it comes to professional sports. I do see this. And I know a girl whose father is a misogynist. I don't normally say that about men, but this one is. He's a misogynist. He is all about, gotta have my golden calf son go off to be the next Wayne Gretzky, but ignore his daughter, who's good at, she's good, she's decent at being a goalie for hockey, and doesn't pursue the daughter to do anything. Just kind of like, almost like wanted to basically marry her off young to someone who could take care of her. So that way, the parents don't have to worry about their daughter anymore. Here, you take over the payments. That's basically what it is. And it infuriates me when I see that, when I see parents still do that. We're in, 2022 now? Stop trying to do that shit. Okay? It really infuriates me when you see a parent, especially when you have a daughter that's more focused on sports. She's not focused on boys. I would rather see my daughters more focused on something they're passionate about than boys. Okay? I don't want my children to end up being teenage moms or moms in an early age, and they never got to have any kind of achievement. Like, their only achievement is being a mom. Mostly anybody can be a mom. There are some women out there, obviously, who can't have kids, but being a mother is almost an easy goal to do, but to go off and have a career for yourself and be financially independent where you don't have to worry about, is the man going to stick around for you, And I don't like to see single moms. I like to see family units that are secure, either it's woman, man, woman, whatever, whatever have you, gay, straight, whatever have you. I like to see a family unit where there's two parents in the household. That way, there's help. You're not doing it by yourself. There is help. And I don't like the pushing of women to like, you don't need a man. You could do it all by yourself. And I'm like, you know how hard it is to do it by yourself. I was a single mom for a short time, but I was a single mom. And it sucked. I don't like being a single mom. I like having someone who's a helpmate, someone who's helping me. So when you have parents who either A, don't care, they want their daughter to like, oh, go meet a man so you can go and have babies and do that and have the guy support you. Or you have the parents that are like, I don't care what you do, and then you get pregnant as a single mom. And you're like, okay, well, guess you're single now. Guess you're a single parent. I hate that society pushes different things. I much prefer to see women who you create a career for yourself. You can financially support yourself. And then you either find a man, woman, whatever have you, whoever you're attracted to. You find a partner who supports you mentally, supports you, by being there for you, needing to talk to you, and you're both financially stable, so if you decide you want to have children with each other, whether it's giving birth to your own children or adopting children, you have this stable environment for these children to bring them into their life. And so with this here, I very much saw the parents as being this, oh, you could go and find yourself a man. Don't worry about being a professional soccer player. You can go and marry this man and have babies with him, and then you're secure. Having babies with someone does not mean you're financially secure. And this is the thing that I wish that society would stop pushing. It's just because you're with somebody doesn't mean the relationship's healthy, and it doesn't mean that just because you have kids, you're financially secure. Sometimes you really freaking struggle to get by when you have kids. This is why I say you pursue a career. You get yourself a career first. Focus on that. Focus on being okay to financially take care of yourself. And then if you want to get a man or a woman, whatever, then you can pursue that. I got so tired of seeing this. And it was basically that, where they didn't support her career as a soccer player. And I was just like, you were disappointing to me, parents. You're disappointing to me. And she defied what her parents basically wanted to do. They eventually accepted it, but it still irritated me because I'm like, how come if you have a man child, that gets pursued more than, to let him have a career, but if a woman child, you want her just to get knocked up and have babies. It really frustrates me. It really does. And it's like, I have seen women in my life who have had careers and they've done really well for themselves. And I'm like, you don't have to struggle. You're not struggling. You've got money. You can afford, a babysitter. You can afford daycare, And yes, there are people out there who are like, oh, you're having a daycare, take care of your child. It's either or. You either work a career and yes, you have your children in daycare, but you get to see them every day. You get to impart, information into their heads. So that way they become decent, society members, So it's not like you're not seeing your kids every day. You get to see them. You're just not seeing them all day. Because believe me, being a stay-at-home mom, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. There are times I wish I had something else for myself, that it's not just me and my kids, It's not just kids. I want something for myself. This is why I do this. This is like for myself, for me to have some type of hobby, something that's other than just raising your kids, So I don't bash the women who decide to be stay-at-home moms, but I also understand the women who are like, I can't be a stay-at-home mom. I have to work. I want a career. I understand that too. So yeah, for me, it was like, it kind of irritated me when I saw that, but I still enjoyed it. But the thing that's why I gave it 4 is I hate the separations when Megan Quinn does this. She does those separations and it just frustrates me to no end. And I wish she'd stop doing that. I wish she'd stop doing these stupid separations. Because he went off to the pros. And meanwhile, she had I think 1 more year left for college. And so it was basically them talking and seeing each other sporadically. And it kind of as any relationship, when you're in a relationship that is a long distance relationship, stuff happens and you start to go away from each other. Now, he was devoted to her. He was very much devoted to her. Didn't want to cheat, didn't want to sleep around. She was the one that kind of pushed him you should probably see some other people. He didn't want to do that. He just wanted her. So I appreciate that he was really loyal to her, but it's a hard thing to be in a relationship outside of college, especially when your paths are going in different directions, So it's very kind of difficult see it, you know, and see how hurt his character was and how much he loved her, you know. So it's really heartbreaking too to read. So that's why I ended up giving it a 4 instead of a 5. So the next book I ended up reading was the other book in the series. So we've got the Brentwood Boys number 7. This is a Strikeout. I ended up giving this one a 3. So we got Holt and Harmony. And I said the Spice rating, I gave it like a 3 out of 5. So I said Harmony's in college with Holt, and one night while Holt and his other baseball buddies are drunk, they decide to go over to the diner Harmony is working at. And Harmony and Holt get off on the wrong foot, and then Holt decides that he likes Harmony, so he manages to look her up on the school directory, and then it leads her to her social media. And then he finds out she's going to be at the beach, so he meets her there, and then this was the starting of the relationship. Now, we have two characters that she's poor. She is poor. Her family lives in this, like, small, podunk, like, little town, probably with, like, one street light, and they're content there. They're happy with living this small town life. You know, they do, like, obviously, every Saturday or Sunday, the father goes out to go get a paper and then comes back and they eat, like, you know, whatever, donuts or whatever. So, I mean, they're happy with that. That's what they like. They like the small town life. And her parents were very supportive. I really appreciated that she had very supportive parents, you know. And then Holt's family obviously comes with some type of money. You know, the father has, like, multiple businesses, things like that. And so for the beginning of the story, you basically have Harmony, who's kind of prejudging Holt. That's freaking hair. Prejudging Holt and, like, oh, he's just a rich boy. He gets everything handed to him kind of thing because he's a part of the baseball team, and the baseball team, you know, gets all this, they get all this stuff, you know. It was kind of the same thing with, like, in the last book when it came to soccer. Female soccer, just women's sports in general, is not high up there on the list of what you want to watch. You know, the most people watch nowadays is male-dominated sports. So yeah, anyways. So this one here, obviously she was prejudging him, and then he decides to pursue her. And the first 60% of this book, I really liked because he was really sweet. He was so sweet. He was funny, and he just kept pursuing her. Like, no, I want to go on a date. And she just kind of, like, kept, you know, telling him, like, oh boy, you know, kind of like, calm down, you know. And then she started developing feelings for him too. And she just really didn't want to kind of, like, give up that whole, you know, whatever was in her head kind of thing. And so I said, I was really liking this book up to 60% mark, though I thought the story was a bit too insta-love. I did feel like Holt's character really started developing feelings for her, like, way too quickly. And I was like, dude, rein it in, because you will go scare her away, okay? So rein it in and stop being so simpy, you know. He definitely was like, I'll do anything for you, babe. And I was kind of like, dude, rein it in. You are going to scare her away. And so, but I said, I loved Colt's humor and his teasing of Harmony. But what I had an issue with was the fact that Holt became more and more clingy. Oh, I hate clingy guys. I've told my boyfriend, do not cling to me. Please, I need my space. Give me my space, please. I hate when someone's constantly like, get away from me. So he kept, like, just trying to drive me nuts, you know, clingy, jealous, was starting to be, like, super insecure. And I was like, oh, this is not a good look, dude. This is not a good look. I said he kept asking her if everything was okay with them, and then they would have this argument and then get back together, and I was just like, why? Why did she create such this character? He was really good, and then he just, more and more insecurities just kept kind of creeping in, and I'm just like, no. And I'm like, boy, you need therapy. You need some freaking therapy. So I said, he also has a heart condition. So it became like, he became super stressed. He would pass out, you know, and even his coach was like constantly was checking him to make sure like his heart was okay. He wasn't getting too stressed out. He would do this like ECG machine or something like that. And so it bugged me that he would let himself get upset, that it started to affect his health. And I said he did end up getting therapy for his anger issues. Like he did start to get like therapy for his issues like toward the end of the book. And I was like, good dude, because you need some therapy. You have got some rage and like anger issues that you have got to address. And so it did start to help the relationship. I'm so glad that Megan Quinn did not do a separation in here. It was just kind of like a breakup kind of thing. But I love the secondary characters. I loved her roommate. Her roommate, I think, was awesome. And I said also, both of the characters' parents were really supportive. I mean, I was glad that there was no toxicity with the parents. They both were supportive. And also, the one thing that it had in here, too, was, I mean, I knew this kind of going in. You know, when you go and you look at a book and you're like, okay, it's surprise pregnancy. Okay, let's see, you know, what happens. Because I'm thinking, like, I'm obviously remembering the previous books when it had Carter in it. I think it was Carter, and some of the other ones, like there was the locker room and there was the dugout and there was some of these other ones. And I know I read those. And I kind of felt like she should have wrote this story before those, because this was kind of like the time of like when Knox, who was from the first book, The Locker Room, he was trying to get together with his lady. And then you had the other character of, I think it was Carter, he had got together with his lady in the dugout. And I was kind of like, I'm trying to remember like the stories from the past, like with the you know, mingling and all that stuff with the storylines and everything. So I was like, why didn't she just create this book around the same time as like The Locker Room and the Dugout? You almost could put this book like maybe third or second, you know, in between like The Locker Room and the Dugout and all that stuff. You could almost put them like right there together. So to me, I felt like, why did she wait to do the story on these characters? I was just like, okay. But the thing that's why I ended up giving it a 3, because of his insecurity, his jealousy, his anger, his, you know, just, he would just get so emotional and just angry. And her character, Harmony, was like, you need to calm down. You've got to calm down. You've got to, like, you know, like she was dating this one guy that he hurt her feelings, and all he wanted to do was beat up the guy. And I was like, dude, they've gone their separate ways now. You're with this woman now. Let it go. Let it go. Why are you freaking out about this? You are so insecure. Work on yourself. So yeah, he really kind of started rubbing me the wrong way. And I was like, no, I gotta put this as a 3. It started lacking. It was really good. It went up. It did really good. And this is where authors tend to fuck up, is within the 50 or 60% of the book. And then it's almost like they run out of steam, or they want to create this conflict. And I'm like, some books don't have to have conflict. Some books don't have to have them. Sometimes you could have these mature adults who meet each other and it's just meant to be. And yeah, maybe they have like different things that they have to work on, but it's not like huge deals to where it's causing this couple to break up or like these huge arguments and stuff. You don't have to have that. Like my boyfriend and I rarely argue. When we do, we try to talk to each other, not scream at each other. I think one time I screamed at him because I got that emotional, you know? But other than that, we talk, we discuss things like mature adults. And to me, I was like, whew. For them, it was just, it was very like melodramatic and emotional. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, please stop doing this. So Megan Quinn, even though I like her rom-coms, I like her her writing, she has a tendency of doing like conflict in the middle of the book when it's probably not necessary. And then when she goes and she creates these separations for these couples, this is why a lot of people didn't like The Locker Room. I actually did like The Locker Room, but I understand why people didn't, because there was a huge separation between the characters. They lived their own lives for how many years away from each other. And it's like, you don't want to see that with this couple. And it's like, why does she keep doing this? Why does she keep doing this? So it was irritating. It was irritating. But yeah, that's it for this video here. I really want to, like I said, the vlogs, I want to see if, like, does anybody want to see a, monthly vlog for me where I, like, once a week, like first beginning of maybe of the month, I do a weekly vlog. If anybody wants to see that, let me know down below. Also, I have the newest Kindle. If anybody wants me to do a video on, like, how the newest Kindle is compared to the 2018 version, let me know, because I see differences between them. And for me, I could tell which one I like better. So if anybody's interested in me doing anything like that, let me know down below. I could always go and do a short video on how I like the newest Kindle. But yeah, that's it for this video. Have yourself a good day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be safe out there. And I will see you all on the next video.